Alright, every chicken was kung fu fighting. You know, when Blaziken first released in Hoenn, I was like, this is super cool. I think the first time I ever saw Blaziken was during like one of those episodes in the Pokemon anime where I was like, I watched it and I was like, I saw that one dude had a Blaziken and I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. And then I started seeing the commercials for Blaziken for Ruby and Sapphire and I was just hooked. Obviously, if you know I'm the king of Charmanders, I like fire. So you probably know what starter I picked when I started my Hoenn journey for Pokemon Ruby. It's the powerful Blaziken. Now, what makes Blaziken so powerful is that it's a fire and fighting type. Very great typing in the game, very, very strong. And it was a beast. And it's a beast in Pokemon Go. Now, for Pokemon Go, Blaziken has an incredibly high attack stamina, and it is also it's incredibly powerful. Now, what makes it really good in the Love Cup, it's actually a very powerful closer. With shields down, Blaziken goes to town, and it's actually really unique, because with fire and fighting, guess what? You're actually not weak to charm. So, because fire resists fairy, and fighting is weak to fairy, charm does neutral damage. As you see here, weaknesses are flying, ground, psychic, and water. You can see psychic in the form of like Slowbro, or water in the form of Alomola, but you probably won't see it around flying or ground much, unless it's like where you attack Charizard, so... Yes, you can see its weaknesses, however, I wouldn't beg to see them that much. You resist Bug, which you can actually see in this meta with, like, Wormadam Trash. Darks, Fires, Grass, Ice, and Steel. So you have quite a bit of resistances. You do resist the Shadow Razor Leafers, which are Vileplume, Churum, and Shadow Vileplume. You resist other fire types like Blasphemous and Charizards, Ice types, Steel, and I don't think there's much Steel, Ice, or Dark, to be honest with you. Dark is probably Scrafty, but you probably won't see a lot of Scrafties because Charm. Now, what makes Blaziken so good is that it has Counter, and Counter is it's overall the strongest fast move in the game as far as like sheer damage, energy gain, and just overall balance. Overall, it is the most powerful fast move in the game, and then you couple that with things like Blast Burn, Blaze Kick, and Brave Bird, you have one powerful chicken that absolutely destroys the meta. It is one of the stars with an exclusive move called Blaze Kick, and it has Brave Bird, Overheat, it even has Focus Blast. It is so versatile, it is so strong, and it is one of the, like I said, one of the most powerful closers in the Love. Alright, as you see for the Blaze Kick, Blaziken ranks at number 25. You actually don't need Blast Bird, which is actually really good if you don't have a, like, Blast Bird one. Blaze Kick and Brave Bird are the two strongest moves for Blaziken. As you see here, it is not great as a lead or switch, however, it is incredibly powerful as a closer. However, if you do throw Blaziken into a positive matchup, it's still really good, but as you see, it's one of the most powerful closers. It does a hell of a lot of damage, and because of its ability to hit Blaze Kick and Brave Bird and its high attack, it's probably going to nuke you if it has energy or if it has a good matchup. As you see here, you have a bunch of key losses against Medicham, Charizard, Wigglytuff, Alomola, and Clefable, so things can still charm you down, etc. However, you don't want to use Blaziken, like I said, as a lead or as a switch. You want to use it as a closer, so you want it in the back. You can throw it into a positive matchup, however, Blaziken in the back is probably your best bet. As you see in the lead, Blaziken is number 70. It still beats a few things. Like I see here, it beats Electrode, it beats Vileplume, it also beats Lickitung, and Churum. So basically, it beats the grass types. So you have a great matchup against the Shadow Razor Leafers. As a switch, Blaziken is number 25. It actually can take out Scrafty, Electrode, Crustle, Crawdaunt. You probably won't see a lot of Crawdaunts. And Shadow Vileplume. So it does have a lot of potential against its positive matchups. Against, like, as you see here, these ratings are pretty strong. 600 and 800. So those are pretty great matchups. The closer is Blaziken's best position, as you see here, at number 3. It takes out all the fighters. It takes out Wigglytuff, Electrode, Lickitung XL. It does lose against Alomola, but as you see here, it's a 540 run rating, so it's pretty close. It also loses to Charizard, Chansey, and Blissey. You probably won't see a lot of Chansey and Blisseys. However, Blaziken, as you see here, is a monster and actually beats out all the other fighters and is just incredibly powerful in the closer at number... Alright, as you see here, we got the Peapoke.com rankings. As I always say, please consider donating Peapoke.com. I have Blaziken with Blazekip Greybird. I also have Stone Edge. Someone mentioned I should probably put it in there. I mean, you probably don't want Stone Edge. Brave Bird will allow you to kill a lot of things. And without Brave Bird, you basically can't nuke the fighters. I have the Love Cup meta to the right. We have the 2 shield. We're going to hit battle. As you see here, as I mentioned, the lead is probably your worst thing. I would leave Blaziken as a switch or the closer. Throw it. If you win lead and they throw something into you, and it's one of these like matchups as you see here: Crustle, Electro, Churm, Sunny, etc. Scrafty. If it's one of those, you could throw Blaziken into Dominate. As you see, it has a very good match. It has a very good match, except for Crustle, it gets pretty close. As you see here, you only beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matchups. So as out of the 13 of the meta, you only beat 5. So I'd just be very careful about just be very careful. So. In the 1 shield, as you see here, that's the one it is. So in the 1 shield, as you see here, in the 1 shield, you still beat the same things, but you do drop the Charizard matchup, as you see here. And it's pretty much across the board of what you beat and what you don't beat in the 2s and the 1s. Now the 0s is Blaziken's best position. As you see here, in the 0s, you nuke a lot of the meta. With Brave Bird, the only 2 matchups you do not beat are Alola and Wing Attack Charizard. Just because Wing Attack Charizard is super effective, and it's going to get to that really quickly as far as Blast Burn / Dragon Claw goes. However, as you see, this is why Blaziken is so powerful. In the 0s, you beat the entire meta with the exception of Alola or Charizard. And even Alola is a close matchup. Alola will only live with 19 HP left. So if you have chip damage on this thing, you could probably kick it out with the singular Brave Bird, as you see here. 1 Brave Bird will do 125 damage. Does a ton of damage. So that's why Blaziken is so good. It is an incredibly powerful closer. As you see here, it destroys so many things in the closer. With the exception of Charizard and Alola, which is huge. And it's just so strong. So strong. In the 1-0s, as you see here, in the 1-0s, you actually pick up the Charizard Wing Attack matchup, only losing to Alola. And in the 2-0s... pretty much the same thing as the 2-1s. Or the 1-0s versus 2-0s. You only lose against the Alola, but you beat everything else. Now, as you see, Stone Edge isn't really a great thing. You drop a lot of matchups, so I don't recommend you play Stone Edge. With Shield Advantage, as you see here, with Shield Advantage, you lose a few things, which is the Charmers, Medicham XL, Slowbro, just because of those confusion damage, Clefable, and Alola. So, 2-1s, it's best to try to... If you're going to use Blaziken, best to leave it in the back, switch into a positive matchup, or like I said, get it to the 0s. Because if you could get to the 0s, it's incredibly powerful, as you see here. Definitely worth playing in the closer, and if you have one with if you want to try it, it's really, really good. Especially, like I said, in the 0 scenario. Alright, so if I had to give Blaziken rating, probably a 7 out of 10. That seems a lot lower than it probably should, but Blaziken really only specializes in one position. Like I said, you can kind of throw it as a switch. It's still really good. As you see here, it only really loses against a lot of the water typings. But there's a lot of things that can check it as well. For example, like Charizard, Solrock, Jinx, same thing with Confusion. Confusion user is probably its worst nightmare, especially Slowbro and Slowbro. Especially Slowbro. So Slowbro can effectively kind of just like charm you down to oblivion because you're rating so bad. As you see here, as the shields go down, Blaziken starts getting better, which is ironic, as you see here. In the closer, it's very powerful, but that's the problem. You have to get it in the closer. As you see here, the closer 82%, and even then you still lose against things like Confusion users pretty much destroy you. Water types give you a hard time, and so does Charizard, unfortunately. So even if you are in the closer, it's not completely invincible. It does beat a lot of the meta. However, Blaziken, like it's a lot to ask for to put Blaziken in the closer. No good real bait move, and Brave Bird does debuff you, so if you don't finish it off with Brave Bird, Blaziken's probably going to get destroyed by whatever's coming in. As you see, it's best used if it has shield advantage, as you see here. In the 2-0s, there's actually only 3 things that stop Blaziken. And since one of them's a Alola, unfortunately, I just can't give it a super high rating. It's very powerful in the closer. However, Alola, you probably won't see a lot of it, but because not a lot of people have an Alola, but still. It's very susceptible to Confusion users. And just because not a lot of people have, that doesn't mean you won't see Alola. So just be very mindful. Blaziken is still very powerful, like I said. If you want to use it, it's going to take some skill, a little degree of difficulty. However, Blaziken does do a lot of work against a lot of popular meta. If you can get it to the closers, you give it energy, or like I said, if you just give it with no shield, it's going to run over a lot of things, and it's likely going to KO a lot of things. So, Blaziken's really, really good. I would, if you're trying to get to Legend, I wouldn't run it. However, if you're already a Legend and you want something fun, and you want something that's going to destroy, like, nuke a lot of things, Blaziken's your dude. Or Chick, depending on which one you have. Anyways, Blaziken is still really good. Like I said, in a closer, if you want to use it, go for it. But like I said, don't use the climb to Legend if you're still trying to get to Legend. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Good luck in Go Black sets, and I'll see you in the next video.